All right. Your daddy is who? What's up, everyone? It's
Hey,
Jack
just
Mangan
how old are
here.
you anyway?
Yes, excellent. Yep. All right. So we're talking. Oh, we have a special guest here. The man himself, Mr. John Bon Jovi, is over there. Don't
Yes,
ignore the name Rich down the bottom. We have Bon Jovi himself,
right. We
circa
are we are
1986,
we are at the melting point of rock, everybody.
7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. Well, so we'll do a quick intro. We're all repping Jersey today. I'm Jack Mangan. I'm not in New Jersey anymore, but I'm in Arizona. You know me from Metal Hall of Fame, from Metal Asylum, and the Am I Evil graphic novel. We have a release candidate. That's pretty exciting. And I am repping the Jersey Metal. Kudos, big shout out to Frank White and Alan Tecchio, who
Yep.
came out with the Jersey Metal coffee table book. It's an awesome shirt. Get the shirt or get the book. And we got to have them on. So if we can get them back on. Anyway, that's my story. Over there to my left, to your right.
Also representing a Jersey band, Symphony X, Rich Catino from Metal Asylum and our Right for Brave Words and the Metal Hall of Fame. And we are obviously talking about Bon Jovi today. And big discussion, right, guys? Very controversial. Are they metal? Are they not? Are they hard rock? Are they hard rock metal? Are they glam metal? Whatever. And welcome back, our friend Erika. What's up?
Well, I'm just Erika from Florida. 3 times the charm. I love how I'm just like weaseling my way back in here, like week after week.
Because we're picking stuff that you like too, so it's kind of cool.
I know.
Yeah.
But I just know Rich and Jack from just the metal scene, and they've been kind enough to just keep letting me back for more.
We already did Rad.
Welcome
We
back.
already did.
I know,
Rad
I
for
know.
more.
We need another line.
Yeah. But no, Erica, I mean, oh, you know your shit. So I mean, and you do great. You're always welcome every time. So
Okay,
so thank
heard.
you for coming back. Thank you for putting up with us guys again. So I mean, yeah,
Oh,
we're
and
talking about.
I'm repping.
Oh
So my
yeah.
eyes are right here, guys. My eyes are right here. Okay, I'm repping Bon Jovi from the first album.
First
So
album.
fun fact: it's the first time in my entire 49 years of being alive that I've ever worn a Bon Jovi shirt.
Awesome.
There you go. I was gonna wear the slippery when wet shirt, like the album cover, but I can't really pull that off.
I thought about
Not anymore.
it.
Get our viewership up. But yeah, so let's talk about it. So, all right, I'm gonna actually let you guys kind of steer because I'll jump in. Well, actually, let me say one thing, and then you guys steer. You guys know me. Rich knows me especially. I do not like to shit on other people's taste, and other things other people like. So I am not gonna just be, dissing you guys and your music all that much. But man, this reaffirms I'm not a fan. But there's stuff I like, and I'll chime in, and I'll be straight, I'll be honest, but I'm also not just gonna. It's not gonna be I'm not gonna be like the old grumpy old man Muppets, just bashing him the whole time. I'm gonna keep it
Well,
real. But
before we get
anyway,
into it too, since I always defend the first 4 albums, I will say that I always defend the first 4 albums, and I always will, because that's where they fit into. I'm not going to call them heavy metal because they were not heavy metal, but if you remember back in the 80s, from 84 up to 89, 90, the New Jersey album before Keep the Faith, they were not rock like Journey or Styx or Foreigner. Right, guys? Am I right?
I agree.
Not like that. They were heavy guitar driven, not heavy metal, but it was hard rock, heavy, sometimes heavy riffs. And Richie Sambora was totally aggressive in his solos. So it was not rock like you're thinking, like I said, Journey, Styx, Foreigner, those kind of bands, right? It was harder. It was heavier. It was more like Rat, Poison, Dokken, all that kind of stuff. Twisted Sister, Quiet Riot, right?
I think Journey did go there. Like Separate Ways, of course, is an example. The song Frontiers, I think Journey did get as heavy as Bon Jovi's heaviest at times, but overall,
Yeah,
especially the first two records, yeah. But go ahead, Eric. I
exactly.
don't want to.
When you listen to the first 2 albums, like Runaway, right? With the exception of She Don't Know Me, which was kind of balladish, like kind of light, and the ballad Love Lies. Everything else, which is a great ballad, but everything else on the album is a hard or a heavy rocker. Am I right or wrong?
Correct.
Driven and carried by a riff, right? Especially Get Ready, as I'm looking at the album here. Get Ready, Breakout, Roulette, Shot Through the Heart. Not You Give Love a Bad Name, but Shot Through the Heart. Right?
No,
So
listen,
what's that?
I'll wait till my turn.
Okay, so
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
that's how I'm gonna start off. Let's differentiate them from the rest of the bands from the 80s, right? They weren't AOR rock, they weren't Journey-ish, they were heavier, harder than that, you know? They fell into this category with the glam metal, or like I call it, hard rock metal. It might not be heavy metal, but it's definitely not regular rock, you know? It's got more
What do
to
you
it.
think?
It's got more edge.
Sorry, what do you think? We have 4 viewers right now. What do you guys think? Bon Jovi, heavy metal, hard rock, AOR like Journey or Styx or Foreigner, that kind of Night Ranger. What do you think? Where do you see Bon Jovi?
Night Ranger, perfect example. They fell right into that with Night Ranger, and they were not like Journey and all those bands either. They were a little harder and more aggressive too, right?
And I think too, like they were a rock band, but then they added in keyboards. Like if you take the keyboards away, you know, like if you put keyboards in Rat, if you put keyboards, you know, and I mean, obviously Home Sweet Home, they brought in keyboards, but that's, I think they were rock. And then they added in the keyboards, which
Right.
I'm going to go for hard rock. I was actually corrected. So like you, I'm going to back up for a second, Jack. This is going to be kind of an oxymoron. Like I'm not a huge Bon Jovi fan, but I love these first 2 albums. Like I think they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone had commented yesterday, that person shall be, I will be not named. No, we grew up on Bon Jovi. I think they're all great musicians. I have nothing against them. And then somebody else was like, you should read up on John Bon Jovi. I'm not knocking their musical skill. They're all great musicians. It was just a band that I never really totally got into. I mean, let's face it, in the 80s, girls got into bands because guys were hot, right? I mean, but that wasn't that, except me, but I'm not discrediting them all as musicians. I just was never like, oh yeah, best band ever. And then somebody actually corrected me yesterday, like, Bon Jovi isn't, this is like, they slid in my DMs, like, Bon Jovi is not metal, or hard rock. They're more of a hair band. And I'm like, well, the Metal Asylum, we're not going to, discriminate. It's not like we're talking about Barry Manilow or.
Right. And like I was saying, Bon Jovi still fit in with, who did they open for? They opened for Rat. I think they opened for Kiss. I think they played with, who else did they play with? They played with a couple pretty metal bands. Did you guys ever see this? This is from Tokyo in 1985. Did you ever see this concert?
No.
It was a Pro Shot show from 85. If you watch that show, it's not light rock. It's not pop rock. It's got some pretty metal riffs going on in there, Pop choruses.
Always high energy.
What's that?
I'm saying it was always high energy. It was rock and roll. It's like,
yeah.
But so is Jay Giles' band. Jay Giles' band, like no one's like sitting down for something like that. Like
but
it was
it's
definitely
not like
party.
that either. It had more. Every time you listen to Richie's riffs, I don't think of like Journey or Scorpions too. Yes, Craig. I don't think of Journey and Styx and those kind of bands. REO Speedwagon. When I think of Bon Jovi, I think of Rat and Poison and Quiet Riot and all those bands, right? Because they were right in the family.
Well, I think Bon Jovi led the way for hair metal to take over MTV. And I know you hate that term, and I agree actually.
Right.
It's not a nice.
Them and Def Leppard.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, Def Leppard did it, with traditional metal. Bon Jovi, I think, that even that first album, which I think we all agree is a decent album. I know you guys love it. I'm like, it's okay. I think that album, they were just trying to be a rock band at that point. I don't know. I mean, it seems I wasn't there with them in the room, but that they were trying to be a rock band. And I think they realized, these are good-looking guys. They were photogenic guys.
Rocking though, right?
Yeah, they were hard rock. And you are right. You keep talking about Richie Sambora. Richie Sambora is a hard rocking guitar player, right?
Yeah.
I can hear, even on the Bad album, I can hear where he was like doing his best to elevate it, throwing in some cool licks and some tasty little licks and things here or there. On those songs that would otherwise just be complete trash, I can hear like him doing little things to metal it up a little bit. But I don't know. I guess we're establishing that they fit. If someone wants to say that they were in the metal world, then of course they were in the metal world. They weren't Creator, they weren't like Death Angel, but they're still. I'm not going to say they don't belong in the metal world. I hate that argument anyway. I hate like when people get so crazy about that. You say like, oh, I love AC/DC. AC/DC is not metal. Like, all right, we're gonna have let's talk about the music. I don't give a crap what
Right.
what people are
But
looking at.
but you could have AC/DC play with Metallica and Motley Crue and Queensryche and Iron Maiden, because when they play live, that's pretty metal. You know,
Right,
it's
Yeah.
not rock. Regular rock is not as heavy as these bands. There's a difference, you know?
right. Pat Benatar, who I've seen live, by the way, so I'm not
Mm.
throwing shade.
She's
Pat
pretty,
Benatar,
she's pretty
Toto.
hard rocking
So
too, you know?
speaking
Yeah,
of live, Jack, have you seen Bon Jovi?
I've never seen him live. No, I've got a story about it, but no, I've never seen him live. I got a couple of Bon Jovi stories, but I'll get to them. So
Rich,
you
how
guys
many
have seen
times
him live, right?
how many times have you seen Bon Jovi, Rich?
I saw him once in the 80s, and I actually still have the tour book.
Of course you do. Wow. Which album?
New Jersey, 89, when they played Giant Stadium.
Yeah, I was like, even growing up on Bon Jovi, like I was always just late to the party as usual, right? I saw them at 2 stadium tours. I want to say in like 2002.
Okay.
And then, oh, nice. And then my friend Nancy and I think we went in like 2006 or 7.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Oh, look
Yeah,
at
this is a Z100 sticker that they were coming to Giant Stadium, so I put it on the tour book.
that.
Yeah, I
But
was
like you were
busting
saying,
Rich's
Jack,
chops about that.
you were saying, because they were playing on Z100, which was pop, well, not pop, well, it was pop top
Yeah,
40 radio in our area, right?
right. They played Madonna and then Bon Jovi and then Debbie Gibson, back to back.
Right.
That's what Z100 was all about.
But
And
they
that's
were
when they
playing,
lost me, when they started playing them on like,
yeah,
they went from SOU playing like 7800 and everything else.
right.
And then as soon as they went to PLJ and Z100, that's,
Right.
that's,
But it was the hits, though. It was Live on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, Born to Be My Baby. It wasn't like they were playing Homebound Train or Tokyo Road,
oh, that's a good, I was just jamming that
I
before we
know.
started.
One of their heavier songs. But, they're not playing that stuff. They're playing, the commercial songs, the singles.
Internet glitch.
What's that?
I just had I'm having an internet glitch.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
You're
All
there.
right. All right. Sorry.
I hope
I
you didn't
freeze
get me
up.
stuck with some funny face on here.
So before we move on to the next album, Jack, what songs do you like on the first one?
The first album, I'd have to bring up a track list. I'd still like Runaway. So, I mean, I've not listened to any Bon Jovi in a really long freaking time. So,
Okay.
leading up to this, because I love you guys, I went up and listened to these albums again. And the first one, it, I was going to, it's not a great album, man. I'm sorry, you guys. No, for me, it's not a great album, but I do like Runaway. Runaway's never been a bad song. It's
Right.
still a good keyboard focused song. And the keyboard riff is what makes it. Otherwise, the rest of it's fine. I do like Breakout. It's an okay rock song. Roulette is an okay rock song. The only song in this album I'll ever go back to is Runaway. Like just to
Really?
hey, I feel like
Not
listening.
even
There's
Get Ready or Break or Shot Through the Heart?
nothing else in this album ever
Oh,
calls to me.
dude.
Yeah, if you put on this album, I won't run out of the room. There are some other Bon Jovi albums I will run out of the room. But
There's
if
a
you put
lot
on
that
the
I'll run out
album,
of the room too.
yeah, the rest of this album doesn't make me want to vomit. But it's just nothing special. The rest of the album.
Okay.
Honestly, even the ones I like are just like passable. Like Runaway is the one song I would listen to. By the way, you guys should check out One Time Ever because it's not that good. But the band Graveworm, the death metal band Graveworm, have done a cover of Runaway with like the
Really?
death metal growls, and it honestly it doesn't work. It's kind of funny, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really work as a something I'd want to listen to again and again. But kudos to them for giving it a shot.
Erika, what about you?
So I love Love Lies. I definitely love Shot Through the Heart. Those are my two favorites.
Same
I
thing
like
here.
Breakout and Roulette. And of course, and I love She Don't Know Me. And like you, Jack, I always, Runaway was a big hit. That reminds me like fifth grade, roller skating, that'll be their forever hit. But what used to piss me off is like Shot Through the Heart. And I probably, actually, no, I'll save it for when we get to Slippery When Wet. But yeah, those are definitely my faves. But then sometimes Burning for Love, like I was listening to it the other day, like, hey, Alexa, play this album, and then Burning for, I'm like, oh, this is a good song. Like I forget it.
Yeah.
Missing out, Jack. It's all right.
It's not my favorite Bon Jovi album, but it's in my favorites.
Did Alexa we just hear Alexa when you said that?
No, but
I thought
don't Don't make her go off. Don't say her name.
Huh.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna crap on your guy. I'm not gonna sit there and bash too
No,
much.
if you think an album is trash, then say it. That's fine. That's what we're
Yeah.
here for.
No, no, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, this is Bon Jovi is one of the big things Rich and I have disagreed about over the years. You know, there's not many actually. This is one of our good ones. So, um, so you are we ready for 7800? You guys have more
We are.
on the debut.
Heck yeah.
We are at the melting point of rock. That's what 7800 is, apparently.
Oh, look at that. I love this album.
So do I.
This is my favorite Bon Jovi
A
album.
lot of metal riffs on this album.
Yeah.
This is his best album. Their best album.
And if you remember, Jack, that you remember the U68 show, the radio, well, not the radio, the TV show that was on? It was
Yeah,
like
we have.
the equivalent of MTV, sort of.
Yeah, the Power Hour. Yep.
It said you had to go. Yes, the heavy metal power. It said you had to
Oh, you
go to
remember that
you.
too, Erika?
Yes.
And they used to play In and Out of Love and Only Lonely all the time.
Yes. And Striper,
Yeah.
Soldiers Under Command. I remember that
Yes,
one.
absolutely. I actually
I used to
have.
watch that.
Wait, I got a list here, guys. Remember? I mean, listen. Remember all these
Yeah,
songs?
Rich and I talk about U68 all the time. We've
It's-
got such fond memories of it.
They played everybody. Van Halen, Hot for Teacher, Motley Crue.
Oh yeah, it was way better than MTV for metal. Absolutely.
It was
Yeah.
just all hard rock and metal. But you went from Kiss, Heaven's on Fire, and Aerosmith, Lightning Strikes, to Whitesnake, Slow and Easy, and then AC/DC, Sink the Pink, and then Voivod and Celtic Frost, Circle of Tyrants. Like they played everyone and everybody in between that had a video, you know?
Yep. TNT, Thor, Queensryche. I mean, yeah, I discovered so
Wasp,
many bands.
Love Machine, Queensryche, Grim Reaper, See You in Hell. That's how I found out about them.
And it
Tesla.
was on at like midnight, right? Wasn't it like on late?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch on my black and white TV in my bedroom. Was that
With the bunny
a
ears?
metal?
Crocus, Ballroom Blitz,
Oh, yeah.
Stockton, Just Got Lucky, Yngwie Malmsteen, I'll See the Light Tonight,
Oh yeah.
Loudness,
Oh, yeah.
Let It Go. I mean, they played everybody. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And Bon Jovi.
All right. Well, I'm gonna steer us back on point though. Let's get back to Bon Jovi though. You know, we should do a show dedicated to U68. We should find like someone who's involved with it and talk to them about it. But yeah, let me steer you guys back to 7800.
Cool.
So yeah, why don't you guys wax, gush and tell us how great the album is.
Erika, go ahead.
I'm looking at the set list and I'm the set list. Oh my gosh, wrong forum. This album. So I love this whole album. My favorites though are Always Run to You. That one's good. Good
Yeah.
pictures.
Yep.
I love Secret Dreams.
Yep.
Love Silent Night. And I've totally forgot about The Price of Love. Remember that one?
Yeah. That's kind of aggressive too.
I liked In and Out of Love, but I think for us Jersey kids, that one was totally cool because why?
They filmed the video on the Seaside Boardwalk.
Yeah, and like remember, like, oh my God, Bon Jovi was 24 hours, boys.
Yeah.
And another one of my favorites is The Hardest Part of the Night. And I love
Yeah.
Only Lonely. So I got about 5
Great.
top on this. Like those are the ones that I would just listen to all the time. But this is like, remember getting ready for school and you would just like listen to you guys didn't have to do hair and makeup and stuff. But, if we weren't listening, my sister and I shared a room. So if we weren't listening to SOU, she'd get ready, then I'd have to get ready. So we were like listening tapes from beginning till end. Tapes, I said. Tapes.
Yeah, tapes. I had them too. Yeah.
I
I know I burned this one out. Totally.
Oh wait, no, Only Lonely. Is that when he says 24 hours, boys, or is that In and Out of Love?
No, it's In and Out of Love.
All right, because Only Lonely is
that's
when he
right.
pushes the guy up against the thing and he's like, man, you sold us out.
Yeah. When they're playing in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a good memory.
So go ahead, Jack. What do you like about this album or don't like about it?
Actually, I think In and Out of Love is their best hard rock song. For me, that is the best Bon Jovi hard rock song. Otherwise, I mean, this is another one where Only Lonely is kind of catchy. It's kind of a crappy, like, hey, let's make a single song, but it's catchy. They achieve what they set out to do. I always used to say, talking about this album without listening to it, I always used to say, "Oh, King of the Mountain, such a hard song, so cool." And then listening to it again recently, I was like, "Yeah, that song is kind of weak. It's heavy.
That's
but
one of the
it's not.
songs that's kind of meh for me too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I was giving it points before its heaviness, but
Okay.
it's just not that great. I mean, it's with a lot of Bon Jovi, I just feel like they're just middle of the road songs. They're just kind of like,
Mm.
just a lot of Bon Jovi songs, even on these first two albums, sound like they're just in some crappy '80s movie montage scene. Like, like the guys working out and like
Mm.
the Bon Jovi songs playing in the background as he's like working out and trying on funny hats and all the '80s montage stuff. So I don't know. That's what I feel like a lot of these are. I will say Silent Night is a hokey freaking song, but it's it's kind of pretty. I'll give
Very
them
sad though.
I'll,
When you look
I'll
at
give
the
them points
lyrics,
for that.
you know.
It's it's an 80 like it reminds me of the song. It could have been on Family Ties during like one of his breakups.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
look. Yeah, like listen, I got the lyrics here. Silent night, we hold up our candlelight. Silent night, the night our love died. Like it's pretty sad ballad, you know?
No words to say. Remember the video?
Yeah. Yep. What else, Jack? What about like Tokyo Road, Hardest Part is the Night, Always Run to You? What about those songs?
Tokyo Road is the only one I can even think of, and I just listened to this album recently.
Hmm.
And Tokyo Road, yeah, it's a decent rocker. Like if I saw him live, I would hope that would be in the set list for sure.
Hmm.
But
So
yeah,
Rich,
other than that, beyond
so
that,
I know Rich is like the set list connoisseur. Have they ever done Tokyo Road live, do you think?
They did it when I saw them in '89.
They did?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so
Wow.
heavy too. It was just they were just killing it. Yeah, they were great back then. They were. I was saying this before we were on the air. When you saw them live in the '80s, Richie's riffs were heavy. They were not light. It was not just rock. It was they cranked it, and he was up in the mix all the time. It wasn't like he was being washed out by keyboards. Now, if you see Bon Jovi within the past 20 plus years, it's like country rock. Now the guitars are like they sound like a flat tire. There's like nothing there. There's no punch. There's nothing to it. It's totally different sound. Since Keep the Faith.
well, I'll tell a quick story. I'll just throw in a quick story. So not my wife now. Prior to her, so I don't know, 15 years ago or so, when I was dating, she went with all the girls to go see Bon Jovi, and she was like, I don't want to see this at all. She was into like kind of electronic music and alternative. But she came back and it was actually John Bon Jovi. It wasn't the band Bon Jovi. So I don't know if there's a difference. You guys might, or you watching might be able to tell us the difference. But anyway, she came back. She's like, you know what? He put on a great show. He's a great singer. He sang really well. Of course he sang his corny hits, but she said she actually said the highlight of the night was him doing the song Hallelujah, which again, I don't know. So I don't know. You guys, there's a couple of questions in there for both of you and for you guys watching. What's the big difference between Bon Jovi solo versus Bon Jovi the band, and what do you think of him as a singer? So those are the two
So you
questions
mean
I had
like
out to you
you mean
guys.
like Blaze of Glory, like his solo albums?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't. I guess I could look it up. I don't know what he did when he did because he toured as John Bon Jovi, and I'm not sure
Right.
what the set list was. I mean, he
I
did
think
play
he,
Bon Jovi songs, but yeah, I
I
mean, as far
think
you're
he
right, Rich. "Blaze of Glory" is the only solo Bon Jovi song I can name. That's the only John Bon Jovi song I can even think
Miracle.
of.
I love
Miracle, which is a
Miracle.
great
That's the
song,
one.
which has Jeff Beck on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed that one. I guess.
That's a cool album. I like the Blaze of Glory soundtrack. It's cool. It's still got some rock. It sounds and feels more like the Keep the Faith album because it's from that timeline.
I'll
Doesn't
say
have
really quickly.
what's that?
I'll say really quick. I've sidetracked this. I'll just say this and let you guys take control. But I think "Blaze of Glory" is a good song. I think it's got a catchy chorus. He sings it
Mhm.
well. I think it's a well written song for what it is. But again, that's John Bon Jovi. It's not Bon Jovi.
Right. I don't know how many solo albums he has. He has maybe 3 or 4 solo albums, and it's very much like later Bon Jovi after These Days. It's like just regular, I don't know, light rock, pop rock, country rock. You know, it's not the first 4 Bon Jovi albums. Totally not. There's totally different. You can hear the difference between the first 4 albums and what he did after Keep the Faith, and especially like the last 6 albums are just unlistenable.
And Blaze of Glory, doesn't that make like Young Guns? That was,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
the movie. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still like the big haired guy. I mean, he was a young guy when that came out. That wasn't like
Yeah.
him kind of in his older Rod Stewart years. Like that was him
Right. Yeah, he went solo pretty fast for something different, and then he came back. Did Bon Jovi again, but he did a couple solo albums in between, like the later albums.
So yeah, if anyone watching has any expertise on Bon Jovi, it sounds like none of us really are experts on John Bon Jovi solo stuff.
No.
No,
However, though, we totally skipped over. Remember the single "Edge of a Broken Heart"?
which was supposed to be on the next album that we're going to talk about. It was supposed to be on "Slippery When Wet,"
When was that recorded? Hold on, I got to look that up.
which is a great song. That's a good point, Erica. I forgot about that song. I
I
think
love
that
that
was
song.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be on "Slippery" because it's from that era too.
It's
Not
ringing a bell. Was it on a soundtrack, Erica?
the movie.
It's ringing a
I
bell.
just remember they would play it on SOU, like in
Yeah.
high school. So it was released in 1987. Yeah. So, do you know that one, Jack?
I'll check it out. It's
If I
definitely
could
ringing a
sing-
bell.
If I could sing, I would sing it for you.
It came out a year after, actually. As I'm looking
Hey,
at Slippery When
Romeo, what you do?
Wet. Great song. Yeah.
It is a good song, and I know you probably won't like it, Jack, but at least give it a whirl.
I'll give it. Yeah, I'll give it a fair shot.
Well,
I always
before
give
we
it a
go
fair
on to Slippery, I'll say about Fahrenheit, which I like a lot. But King of the Mountain and that weird, like keyboard-driven, I don't want to fall to the fire. It's just kind of right. It's like it just sticks out. Doesn't fit on the rest of the album. It's almost like electronic music. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna have to go back, and I don't remember that one. I'm gonna have to go back.
It's right before Secret Dreams, and it just sounds like electronic. I don't know, new wave guitar or something. It's an oddball on the album.
I was singing
So-
"Secret Dreams." Oh,
Great song. Take To the Fire Off and King of the Mountain and the whole rest of the album. I'll take it. It's great. So it's like an 8 out of 10 for me.
listen, 100%. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 too.
And Jack?
7,800. I'll go 6 out of 10.
Ooh,
be generous.
okay.
Oh my God, you're off this conversation.
Listen, 6 is better than I thought that he was gonna give it. That he was
Next
gonna
time I
rate.
see, next time I see Rich, he's gonna like punch me as soon as he sees me.
All right, let's move on because I'm getting disgusted.
Yeah. Oh, the worst is yet to come.
Well, this is the biggest album. I don't know how worse can get. Maybe it gets better.
This is where this is what ruined Bon Jovi for me. And when it's my turn, I will tell you why.
Okay.
Why don't you go first, Erica? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you tell us.
Fine. So in my house growing up, there was, there was 4 of us. I had a stepbrother, a sister, and a stepsister. And, my sister was rap. My stepbrother, he's the one who was like into metal. Every time I got my allowance, he'd be like, go buy the Exodus album because he was too cheap to buy. Go buy the Exciter album. My stepsister, she was more like the Bon Jovi fan. So we loved the first 2 albums. And, back then, like girls my age, they were into like, I don't know, Madonna, the Go-Go's, which I love the Go-Go's. That's always one of my favorites. And then, they didn't know these 2 albums. So Bon Jovi came out Slippery When Wet. And like, then all these like nerd cheerleader girls thought they were so cool because they're like, oh, Bon Jovi. But they didn't even know the first 2 albums. I was like, hello,
It's
there's
always
2
like
other
that.
albums. So it's
It's
when,
always
and that's obviously when they went poppy on the radio and everything else. And it just ruined it because I liked rock and roll for a long time before that. And then all these girls who, frowned upon rock and roll, and heavy metal, if you will. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, Bon Jovi, we're metalheads now. I was like, no, you're not.
But it shows you where the band started.
Yeah.
You're talking about comparing the first 2 albums to what happens with Slippery. Like, for example, real quick, like the band Europe. You got the Final Countdown, right?
Yep.
Glossy, poppy kind of album. Still has their metal moments, but then there's 2 albums before that. And if you listen to those 2, it's like listening to the first 2 Bon Jovi albums. It's a little more, it's much more guitar driven and more metal, So go ahead.
Yeah. And like in high school, most girls had like, Kirk Cameron and Jason Bateman hanging up, and Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora. And I had Kirk Hammett and Bobby Blitz.
Nice.
Those are my dudes.
Awesome.
Now
I
I'm like,
probably had those guys. I had those 2 guys up too, but probably for different reasons. But yeah,
yeah,
I had both
no,
of those guys.
they were my boyfriends. They just didn't know it. But now I'm like, ugh.
So,
All right.
what do you like about this album, Erica? What don't you?
So I mean, obviously, I'm glad for the successes that it brought Bon Jovi, especially
Absolutely.
for New Jersey. Listen, we're
Yeah.
all Jersey kids. It's always nice to know that we've got some rock bands that are coming. Legendary rock bands that are coming out of Jersey. My favorite song off this is "Without Love."
Really interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
because I'm a lyrics person. Like, I'll listen to a song, but there's always like one line, and I can just pull out some lyrics. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
And the hits? Do you like the 3 hits still?
Um, I mean, I'll sing "Wanted Dead or Alive" in the car. That's like one of my favorite songs to sing by myself.
Yeah.
"Living on a Prayer." I mean, that was just too, that was too much for me. I
Mm.
don't. "Never Say Goodbye." I mean, that was like everybody's prom song, right, in the 80s.
Yeah.
"Wild in the Streets" is fun. No, I'm going to say the only one I really like on this is "Without Love."
Okay.
That's where I come to die with Bon Jovi.
All right, Jack. Were you already dead when you heard the single for "You Give Love a Bad Name" or what?
Holy crap. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll Jersey it up a little bit, and, I don't know. Rich and I have talked about this, Eric. I don't know if you remember it, you guys out there. I hung out at Photon a lot. That was my hangout as a teenager. It was on Route 22 in Kenilworth.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of us there's a strong metal community among the kids at Photon. And I remember we were all just appalled at You Give Love a Bad Name because it came out when we were all there. And we were all just like, what happened? This is a cool band. What is this crap? Um, yeah, I think I will surprise you. I'll be quick. I'll surprise you with this album, actually. I think this album is garbage. I think this is Bon Jovi. Just, I mean, you're right. They were going for MTV Superstar, and they're great looking guys. They were smart. They're like, we can be billionaires off of this stuff, off of the way we look and making pop metal. So if I was in the band, I would have said, hell yeah, write this crap and make us millions of dollars.
Wait,
But
wait. Before you trash the whole thing, what about the song "Let It Rock"? You're not going to tell me that that's not a good hard rocker?
that song does nothing for me, Rich. Sorry.
Are you
Nope.
serious? Dude,
The internet froze up just perfect.
that solo section is like that should be like a lesson for everybody that needs to learn how to play guitar and tear it up. That solo is just on fire.
All right, so, well, I'll tell you what I do like on this album. I'm looking to my left at the set list or the track list. So, yeah, I would say, "Living on a Prayer." I'm with you, Eric. I mean, I understand why people like it. I mean, I can get the appeal of it. I don't like it. I think it's not doesn't do it. It feels fake. And actually, that's another thing I hate about this album. Then from all Bon Jovi after the first two albums is it all feels fake. It just feels like it's like you don't know anything about this. Like, what are you singing about? Like, you're like, this is not legitimate. I don't know. That's how it feels. It feels fake. And "Living on a Prayer" just feels like just bogus, trying to be Bruce Springsteen bull crap.
You don't
Um,
think Gina worked at the diner all day?
yeah, I do feel bad for Gina. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So tough. But I'll surprise you guys though. I do think, even though it's a cheese fest and it's overplayed to hell, I think "Wanted Dead or Alive" is an excellent song. It's the opening
Amazing.
guitar is
Yeah.
that cascading guitar that Richie does in the beginning is excellent. Yeah, it's the simplest song ever. In fact, I know those stories that they were going to throw it out. Richie and John wrote it. They're going to throw it, and somebody at the label heard it. Was like, "What are you doing? That's your next big hit." It's a good song. It's simple. It's the same 3 chords as every ballad ever. It's G D C, but it's a good song. I mean, credit where it's due. Again, hokey freaking fake ass lyrics, but who cares? It's a success.
And again,
The other song,
Sambora tears it up again in that solo. Just
yeah,
saying.
good. Good on him on that one. And yeah, you know what? I'll say I don't like the song, but "Never Say Goodbye." They absolutely they were thinking this is going to be everybody's prom song, and it was. they they mission accomplished. But the other song I like in this is to me it's more like a Cars song than a hard rock or metal song. Is "I Die for You." I think it's that it could have been straight off a Rick Ocasek album. It's a
Oh,
kind of a goofy little poppy like synth rock song, but I like it. It works. But otherwise, yeah, this
hmm.
album goes in the trash for me. So, but what about you, Rich? I mean, I've talked too long. I've said too much.
You said too much. Um, this is out of the 4, it's my number 4, I think. I think.
Really?
Yes. I think New Jersey comes first. then Fahrenheit, then the first one, and then this one. And it's not because of the hits, because I did like the hits when it came out. I still have the vinyl. I played the crap out of this album, you know? Even when I look at the vinyl, actually, no, I took really good care of it. It's not a scratch. But I still love Let It Rock. I'll put that on any hard rock metal playlist that I make. The riff is heavy. The solo's all over the place. It's awesome. Raise Your Hands and Wild in the Streets are just great summer songs, you know, hard rockers that are fun. I don't have to listen to Living on a Prayer again or You Give Love a Bad Name. Wanted Dead or Alive, like you said, Jack, it's a great song. You know, can't deny that. Without Love was never really one of my favorites, actually, Erika. It's okay. Wasn't the biggest fan of that one. And Social Disease is okay. And Never Say Goodbye, that was actually the video. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
But it came out so late after the album was out that they barely played it, you know? So was Wild in the Streets.
Do you remember it probably went on like 3:30, probably when this album first came out. It was like this came out, Cinderella came out. Do you remember they had Heavy Metal Power Hour at 3:30? Yes. And I always remember like it was like the world premiere video of like Living on a Prayer. Like I remember like running home, like, what are they gonna play today? Yeah. It would be like Bon Jovi.
Was it called that or was it called the Hard 30?
I thought it was Heavy Metal Power Hour, but then they changed it, I think. Yeah.
Maybe it was. Or maybe it had both names and it changed.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember the name of it being. I thought it was just Heavy Metal Mania. But I know that was the show at night.
It could have been all three, actually. I think they maybe used all three of them and they just changed as the channel went on.
Well, there was a show called Heavy Metal Mania that preceded Headbangers Ball. They would have different guest hosts. They had like Bruce Dickinson, Dee Snider, Paul Stanley. But the thing you're talking about, Erika, I remember they had like Adam Curry, who doesn't like heavy metal at all. They stuck him on that show. He's joked about it. He's like, they put me on because I had long hair. But he's not even a metal guy. They just put him in a leather jacket and said, "Here, go talk about heavy metal." And
I remember that. I'm trying. Maybe I listen. I'm probably I gotta find it right now because I know he did Headbang. No, I don't.
He did the Headbangers Ball first before Ricky Wackman, I think, took it over. I think so. Before there was that, it could have been the three titles you guys are talking about, and they just used them at different times. You know.
Well, I know you 68 at the Power Hour. I don't remember that being on MTV, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep us on point for time while we think about it. So, Rich, do you guys have more about this one, or are we ready to go on to New Jersey?
We'll go on New Jersey, which I think is great. Love it still.
Well, then let's go out positive. Let me go first so I can trash it, and you guys we'll take it out on a positive note. Because I want to hear. Let me go first. So, like I said, so we'll keep it positive. Well, I'll go negative.
You won't, but I will, just because I love this album.
I'm surprised. Actually, I didn't know you love this album, Rich. I thought you were going to be in agreement with me on this one. Because I think this is. I mean, they had already lost me, but seriously, Bad Medicine is one of the worst songs ever recorded. It's so bad.
That video is so much fun though. With them running around, everybody's got their own cameras, and they're just capturing everything. That was great.
I don't even.
I don't remember it either.
I hate the song so much. It says they were like, "Hey, how do we make a more annoying earworm than You Give Love a Bad Name?" Like, "Hey, how about Bad Medicine?" I just
hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Looking at the tracks, I have nothing to say for this album. I think I'll Be There for You is tacky, sentimental, fake, bull crap, living in sin. I think it's commercial garbage. I hate it. So that's all I'm going to say. I want to hear, but I'm going to applaud you guys for loving it. So go on and let's talk the positives of Bon Jovi's biggest. Is this their biggest hit album? I guess it was probably Slippery When Wet, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Only maybe by a couple million only.
But yeah, this was a huge hit too. I mean, for sure. Yeah. But all right, well, give us the rebuttal now, you guys. Go ahead.
Erika?
Tell me why this album was great.
Again, great musicians. I'm not dogging it. I think the only song I liked the video "Living in Sin." Mm-hmm. Maybe that. I think that's it. That's the only song I don't even like this album. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. I don't even. Like this
I'm all by myself.
I don't love this album. Like, lay your hands off me. I still get your hands off me. Like, yeah, this is where they went too poppy for me. But listen,
really, I
Because
thought
all like the cheerleaders and nerds were like, "Oh, Bon Jovi's so cool." It ruined it. It ruined it. Okay.
Oh,
I
and a quick
thought
note. Quick note.
what's
I'm
that?
sorry. I'm gonna just a quick note, and then I'll zip it to you. But Desmond Child and Diane Warren, who are the two like top hit makers, are all over this album in the songwriting. I just noticed that. I'm just looking at it. Like, wow.
Let me
Like
say
that just if that I mean, and no offense to them. I mean, they've had great careers writing for Celine Dion and Aerosmith and other giant. But that just tells
this
you all you
one.
need to know about where Bon Jovi's head was in this album. They were like, let's make zillions of dollars and be super popular and all over MTV and radio. And mission accomplished, I guess. But all right, so go ahead, Rich.
Well, now that I'm all alone,
I'm going to my corner.
defending this album, even though, let me see, as I'm looking at it and who wrote what, you got Desmond Child on one, two, three, four songs, and Diane Warren's only on one though.
Right, only one.
Wild is the Wind, which is actually in my top 10 favorite Bon Jovi songs. Wild is the Wind. You got to go revisit that. Listen to Richie's acoustic guitar days playing, listen to the lyrics, listen to the riff when he brings it in, and his solo. It's one of his standout moments, I think. Same thing with Homebound Train. You guys know the song Homebound Train? It's not light, it's not poppy, it's pretty heavy, it's pretty aggressive. So go check it out. Listen to it. It's not what you're gonna expect. It's gonna hit you like a train.
We have homework tonight, Jack.
It's a
I
good
have
one.
three
I'm telling
songs.
you. And I think stuff like Born to Be My Baby, I think since they're Jersey guys, songs like that, I think were kind of genuine. I don't think he was just writing it from a false place or trying to make something up. I think he had some kind of experiences like these, and that's why he wrote songs like that. This is pre him trying to be Bruce Springsteen when he changed Bon Jovi's sound, from these days going forward and how it's gotten lighter and lighter. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, guys? So I think these songs, I think these albums, it's a little bit more genuine, Jack, than what your perception is. And then afterwards, when he changed Bon Jovi's sound, he tried to get more Springsteen-ish and country. That's when it got bad. But here, the first four, especially this one, I think this is like it's taken all the elements from the first three, and it's just the next step. Because I think Lay Your Hands on Me is a great hard rocker, great riff. Even when you watch the video, did you guys ever watch the video?
I remember it.
The way it
There was a
builds,
live video, right?
yeah, and it's the way the thing builds, and the way Richie's riffs come in, and then when it kicks off, it's not a light song; it's a hard rocker. Blood on Blood, which is about his friendships and relationships, like with his buddies, growing up. Another great song, great lyrics. And what else? Stick to Your Guns is okay. It's kind of like a Wanted Dead or Alive part two. How about Love Is for Sale? You guys know that one?
Can you sing it?
No, not right now. But it's like a campfire jam. It's all acoustic. They're just hanging out with acoustic guitars and just jamming. It's a cool
What's
tune.
the name of it?
What's that?
What's the name of it? I'm sorry.
Love for Sale.
I think of Kiss.
Oh, okay. And then I'll Be There For You is an okay ballad. I like Living in Sin better than that. So, yeah, this is still, I think, my favorite album. Because it's like the next step past Slippery. Slippery was a little more, like you guys said, it was commercial. I think this one, the lyrics become a little bit more mature, even though they're still about living in New Jersey,
They didn't forget their roots.
Right. And then the music, too, like I said. Sambora on Homebound Train, Wild is the Wind, the lyrics on Blood. This is a cool album. I like it a lot. So I defend it. I think you guys just need to revisit it again.
Listen, I will. I'll take one for the team. I don't know where I got Heavy Metal Power Hour from. I think that might have been U68. Apparently, I'm making stuff up, but there was a show after school from like 3:30 to 4, and I need to figure it out with the Adam Curry. So I just needed to just kind of backtrack and admit that I'm wrong.
I thought it was Heavy Metal Mania. I could be wrong. But
You're
yeah.
probably
All right,
right.
and you know what?
It might have been.
I'll definitely check out some of this song. And I'm sorry, keeping it positive, as you guys have been saying a lot. Absolutely great musicians, all of them. And I will say, not at writing metal, not at writing like prog metal. I would never go to John Bon Jovi and say, write a great prog metal song or a great classical piece, but
Uh,
said, I need a hit. Very good at doing that. Very good at putting together, kind of basic, simple songs that people are going to groove to. Like, and I know I'm pinning this all on on John Bon Jovi, but they were a band, and as a band, they were good at this. I mean,
but he
I
definitely
guess
steered the ship, because as you see, as the years went on, he's the guy that's remained standing, right? And then other people come and go.
right.
So I think
Well,
maybe
so
if Boris stayed in the band, maybe they wouldn't have changed so much and gotten a lot lighter. Maybe he would have still been writing some hard rock songs. I don't
I
know.
see there's buzz about him returning, but I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, we should look towards the exit a little bit, but I wanted to ask both of you, what do you like from Bon Jovi or Bon Jovi's camp after New Jersey, after this album? Is there anything that you do like from whatever year this came
Later
out and
stuff.
beyond?
I was
Yeah,
going to
like the
jump
later
ahead.
thing.
There is one song I like, and it's very poppy and commercially, but it's my life. I like that song because that was like 2002, right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I was supposed to get married, and I was like leaving my fiance, and like that was like my theme song. It's my life. Like Frankie said, I did it my way. Just that my way or the highway by Limp
Mhm.
Bizkit. Like those were my I'm getting out of here breakup songs. See ya.
That was on Crush. That's 2000.
All right, yeah. So it was just kind of like my theme song of that. So I like that song.
Okay.
I associate that with the Devils winning the Stanley Cup. So even though I don't
Yes,
think it's a, yeah,
yes.
so
Well, I'll say
yeah,
that Keep the Faith, even though it doesn't have the same guitar sound as the first four albums, it's still a rock album. And it's still got some good hard rockers, like the first song, I believe. If I Was Your Mother, Woman in Love, and Fear are pretty good hard rockers. The rest of the album is more. It's in that it's in that Journey Foreigner vein. Doesn't have the metal guitars. It's totally different. Totally different guitar sound. You can tell the difference. So back to whether Bon Jovi's metal or not. Are they heavy metal? No. Are they hard rock with a metal edge? Yeah, especially those first four albums. Or if you want to call them glam, right? If you want to call the first two albums glam metal, perfectly fits in there. Can't put it anyplace else, right?
Well, so I'm just going to back up for 1 second. So to me, glam was like Faster Pussycat,
Yeah.
Poison, LA Guns. And I think that, listen, I've never picked up, I mean, I have keyboards and tambourine, but I've never played an instrument. But I feel like those guys are way better musicians. Bon Jovi are way better musicians than, your Faster Pussycats. Like, no, I've never heard anyone say, like, man, Bobby Dahl, he's a great bassist. Have you?
no, I mean that is a fair
No.
point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bon Jovi has more of the reputation too of being like hardworking road warriors, as opposed to
Mhm.
these other bands that were clearly in it for a quick buck, quick bang, and drugs and get it,
Yeah.
and the lifestyle. Bon Jovi had more of a blue collar, you know, I don't, they had
Yeah.
more of a blue collar approach to being a band for sure.
But Jack, you were saying stuff after like New Jersey. So aside from the Keep the Faith album, I don't like Bounce. I think the song Have a Nice Day is pretty good. The
Oh, I
title
forgot
track to
about
that
that
album.
one.
That's a cool, fun rock song. But then the next album going forward, like Lost Highway, and the next five albums after it, it's just trash. It's like pop, country, barely rock. It's just I can't even listen to it.
So
Sorry
now,
to
did you guys ever
disappoint you.
did you guys ever hear one thing I did like was Richie Sambora's solo album. I don't know if you guys ever heard
Oh,
that.
Stranger in This Town?
Yeah, there's some good
Dude, it's
stuff on
amazing.
there.
It's amazing.
So I don't know. Not to go. This isn't not TMI, but my ex-wife used to play the Red Shoe Diary soundtrack all the time that had Richie Sambora songs on it, and one of them was Rest in Peace. And I was, I didn't know it was this album Beyond all the time. I was like, this song is like a badass kind of bluesy song, and I was like, that's Richie Sambora? Are you kidding me? But he
Wait,
can
Rest in
sing.
Peace though is not on Stranger in This Town though, is it?
Oh, is it not? Okay, I thought it was on Stranger,
I
but
think it's hold on. Give me a
it's a
second.
killer tune.
It
I
is.
thought it was,
I think
and
it's
he can
on
sing.
I think it's on Undiscovered Soul. Let me see.
Okay.
if I'm
But he's
correct.
not just he's a great guitar player, sure, but he sings
Yeah.
his ass off. And actually he does a great Hendrix cover too. He does well, he does Wind Cries Mary, but he throws in elements of Hey Joe and some other stuff. And again, and he really, I think he sings his ass off to kind of prove like, hey, I'm not just the sidekick to that Bon Jovi guy. Like I'm a rock
Yeah.
star in my own right. And he was. I mean, I wonder, I think he would have been a rock star even if he had never ended up in Bon Jovi. He would have found another way because the
It is
guy's
on
got it all.
Stranger in This Town, by the way. It's on the first one, Stranger in This Town.
It is. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. But I mean,
But
that's a sexy, soulful song. It's just got
yeah,
so much power. I don't know if you don't know that one, Erica, or you out there watching, definitely check out Rest in Peace. And I also recommend his cover of Wind Cries Mary. Good stuff.
that's a great.
What song do I want to listen to?
It's called Rest in Peace by Richie Sambora.
Okay.
Or Ballad of Youth and One Light Burning. Awesome songs.
I like the album actually. I do like Stranger in This Town. I mean, there's some kind of gunk on it, but yeah, overall it's pretty good.
Mm. Cool.
But
Well, have we
all
made
right,
our point? Have we made our point?
I think we made our point. Yeah, I've learned some things. I've learned things today, so I appreciate
You
it.
guys ever meet my
But
giraffe?
your giraffe?
Yeah. I mean, one would ask why I have a lit up giraffe in my house, but sorry, sidetracked.
Oh, I see the light. So I thought those were just lights. Oh,
But
so there you go. The
I think
giraffe
we
made an
established though
appearance.
that we're not saying that they're heavy metal, but you can talk about Bon Jovi in a conversation because of the first four albums on a channel like Metal Asylum or some other metal platform, because those are hard rock, right? With metal edge songs, correct?
I
I think we
agree.
established that. We're just not calling it
Yeah.
heavy metal. We want to call it hard rock metal, glam metal. I'm not going to call it hair metal. Pick another adjective, but they're in the family, correct? I think we established that now.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. I'm not going to yell at someone if somebody says that they're a heavy metal band. Obviously, they're not Behemoth. It's not the same thing. But
Absolutely.
and there was a time where heavy metal has changed. There was a time where Bon Jovi were heavy metal, but things have changed, and now we look back and go, like, yeah, it was kind of that. It doesn't really fit the category anymore.
No.
But
But
no,
if you're
I'm with you,
listening
Rich.
to Rat and Dokken and Poison and Quiet Riot and all those bands, you sure can listen to the first four Bon Jovi albums because it fits.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right. I think thanks again, Erica. It's always fun having you on. You're welcome really anytime. And it
Yeah.
was good discussion.
I know I had no good stories tonight, except my only Bon Jovi story when Extreme played the Trade Winds in like the 90s. Were you there at all, Rich or Jack? Were you guys I want to say it was like
Ooh.
93, 94. They played the Trade Winds and it was packed. The only thing I saw through that whole show was Nuno run across. Like he was like ran across, and Dave Bryan actually happened to be there. He was like standing behind me. Like that was it.
Cool.
That's my extent with Bon.
I
And
might have
John
been
Bon
there.
Jovi visits Palm Beach sometimes. He's got a house down here apparently.
Where was the Trade Winds? What town?
I want to say Seabright.
Yes. Yep. I remember.
I never went to that. I remember hearing ads for it. Actually, I do have I have a lame, but since you brought it up, Eric, I'll close up my part with a lame Bon Jovi story. I remember hanging out with these girls, and we went down the shore. The three of us went down the shore, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna meet up with our poser friend." That's what they call him. So we met up with their poser friend. He's like, "We're going to Bon Jovi's party tonight. He's having a party at his house." So like he's not gonna let us in. We're just like four dorky teenagers. So we go to Bon Jovi's house, and sure enough, like it was Bon Jovi's house because there were cars out front, but we didn't get in. Like 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 no one even came out to say get out of here. Like we just stood outside for like a half an hour, and like we couldn't even like like it's got this giant estate. We came up to like the gates of his estate, like we couldn't even
John,
hear
it's
party
me.
sounds.
It's me,
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah. John Bon Jovi, let me in.
I got your cassette, man.
Yeah, they might have come out and seen like girls, and like girls can come in, but you two dorks stay out.
Yeah,
Like
you
it was
guys.
like me and the poser guys would have been stuck outside. But yeah, so that is my New Jersey Bon Jovi story. I've been to outside of Bon Jovi's house. And like I said, when we rolled up, there were other people that like other fans waiting to get in, but
Hmm.
wasn't going to happen for us. But anyway, that's my New Jersey Bon Jovi story. But you got come on, you guys got to take us out on a better story than that.
Who?
You, you guys must have more Bon Jovi stories. One of you guys.
I never met them
No.
yet.
All right.
Well, not
I
met
probably won't meet him after this, but
them.
Yeah.
I probably won't either, because if I did, John would be like, I don't want to hear about the first few albums. I don't want to hear how we used to be metal, blah, blah, blah. He probably wouldn't want to hear any of it.
Just like I ate at your soup kitchen. Right? He does that thing in Red Bank, right? You make a
Yeah.
good tomato soup.
And kudos to him for that. He makes no money off
Yeah,
of it.
that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, no, that's for a good cause for sure.
Very cool.
yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks again, you guys. It was
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
It was
Bye,
fun.
Craig.
This was fun.
I hope
What
I,
do you
Bye,
I,
Craig.
hope I
on that
defended my
one?
case for the first 4 albums. We'll see.
Good night, everyone.